everyone. I'm Peyton Fender,
I'm Jeff Doss.
and welcome to the Extra Scoop.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen Peyton. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. A lot of new stuff is happening. Got a
Yeah,
new job.
share that with everybody so they know what's going on in
Yes,
the world.
yes. So I got a new job at Advent Health. I work consumer access. So I work the front desk. We check in people, all that fun stuff. I started last week on Monday, and I start on the job training next Monday. So super excited about that. It's definitely something new. I am
Yeah,
unfortunately not teaching at the school anymore, which also sucks, but
yeah,
I will still be there and still be a part of everyone. So,
it's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. So new changes are good. New life experiences. So
adulting.
that just
Woo!
means yes, exactly. Yeah, you're growing, right? You're making changes, learning new things, and we'll add that to your future. So it's pretty awesome.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. All right. So before we get going with our show, we want to remind everyone about our sponsor, K Talk Nationals, November 24th in New York City, right in the heart of New York City. A great tournament. And I've been several times. Always a fun show. Just a great place to be. A lot of places all around there, of course, to go visit. If you've never gone to visit New York, is a great reason to go do that. And the competition they bring out isn't just local; it's all over the East Coast as well as people from all over that fly out. So always a fun time. Have you been before?
I have not.
Okay,
We've been wanting to go. It always either falls like near Thanksgiving or
yeah,
basically on my dad's birthday.
right.
So we have yet to go. And I was supposed to go this year, but a family member is getting married, so we are going to a wedding. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know that tournament always brings awesome competition. Sue is great, and yeah, I hope everyone that goes has a great time and enjoys the city.
Yeah. We're gonna find out some more things, some new things and divisions and what their focus is this year. We're gonna be finding out more. We're gonna talk about that more next week, leading up to Diamonds. And we're just excited to have them on board with Martial Arts Center Network because, as always, they are great supporters of everything. I know for me, they always brought a team out to my event for many years, and Sue and Rick have always stepped up and helped. So excited to see that event grow as it always does, and it's a part of USA Sport Karate as well. So
Yes, I was just in New York a couple weeks ago for King of New York.
yes, let's go ahead and talk about that too before we get into that. How was that? Because we haven't really got to talk about the King of New York.
We haven't got to talk about really much because we've both been busy, so it's been a while. But
Sure.
King of New York was great. There was a lot of girls from not a lot of girls from Naska, but the ones that are usually there. It's the consistent like me, Soka, Katana, Katarina, Kiana from Gypsy was there from Texas. I think one of her
Mhm.
teammates went as well. And then you got Tyson, Tyreek, Bailey, Devin, all of the boys. And yeah, the team fight was super exciting, as it always is. Extremely exciting. USA came out with a win. So yeah, that was a really great tournament. Jesse runs an awesome tournament.
Yeah, it's really cool that both of these events, in New York, they're having two events. Uh, Now a little bit closer to each other that second half of the year. But what was the crowd like? For the show for the USA versus Europe.
It was super hype. The crowd was going crazy, especially when US took the lead and then we kept the lead. Everyone was
Yeah,
chanting USA, USA, and it was just nonstop for like the last 10 minutes of all the rounds. It was amazing.
that's awesome. That's always fun. I was actually just sharing with someone about just ideas for their event and different things to get the hype going to either finish with certain things or start with certain things.
Mhm.
And I know for me, one of the best things that did was we did a North versus South uh,
Mhm.
at 1 year and team fight to start off the whole tournament, and it was, went into overtime and everything. So the hype was just so excited that after
Mhm.
that, everybody had that energy, and then the rest of the tournament was just, balls to the wall, ready to go, and it was a great way to start, so.
Yeah,
And
I also think it would be, like, really cool, and I know we've mentioned this in the past, but, like, not only, like, a mixed team, but, like, I know, um, Battle of Atlanta, I wanna say a few years ago, they used to do, like, Florida versus Georgia.
yeah,
Like, I feel like
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens at some point in time. Like, the Florida versus
Mhm.
Georgia, those are fun, or, like, what you said, North versus South. Even the mixed teams, like, I feel like Paul Mitchell could bring out a really good mixed team. We could bring out a
Right.
really good mixed team. Straight Up could bring out a really good mixed team. A lot of these teams could bring out a good mixed team.
Yeah, several of these, so we had North versus South, Sin City Rumble in Vegas, Apple's tournament years ago. She did NorCal versus SoCal, which
Mhm.
was hype. It was intense, and like I've never been in a tournament venue where like the floor was shaking because it was that like intense, and that was awesome. And then she did the next year, but with like juniors, and even added forms in there too. So that was kind of
Mhm.
cool. And then um, actually Brian Penna with Carolina Martial Arts Open, he used to do state versus state, and so it would be mostly the Southeast, but he would have a Georgia team, a South Carolina team, a North Carolina team, a Virginia team, a Pennsylvania team, and
Mhm.
everybody would have a team that was based off like I think 4 or 5 people. They would fight it off, and then the final 2 teams left were in the night show or whatever. So that was cool. That was a
I think
fun thing.
that's, like, something super exciting that, like, NASCA tournaments could do. Though
Right.
it's a great way
Def-
to finish the show, kind of like how they finish some of the night shows with team fighting in general. I think
yeah.
finishing a show with a really hype mixed teams would be so cool.
Yeah.
It would force I
Yeah.
know it would force everyone to stay.
Right. I mean, I think if you could sandwich it, like you start with one and then you finish with one,
Mhm. Yeah.
like
Then it would
something
force
cool
people
like
to
that
wanna be there and, like, to the end.
to
Because
the
you know,
end.
a lot
Yep.
of times people end up leaving, like, halfway through.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. I mean, back in the day, and I still think they do a good job now, but Quebec Open always did. They would have some type of, you know, state versus state thing. I mean,
Mhm.
sorry, country versus country thing. And one of the best things was they did an actual like almost like a country versus country tournament team, but for continuous. So they
Mhm.
had they started with like Guatemala versus USA and Canada versus Venezuela, and then the finals was at the end. So you got to see the beginning, and then you got to see the at the end,
Mhm.
and everybody was hyped. So that was pretty cool. So cool ideas. All right, so we're talking about just we got 2 tournaments left in the 2024 NASCA season. This has been crazy because we got really a long break, right?
Mhm.
Before diamonds, and I still feel like everyone, is keeping that energy going to finish off the year at diamonds. For me, it's the crown jewel of NASCA. It is the most important event to me. Just especially since you see people the way it starts and then it goes up and down,
Mhm.
and you have Warrior Cup, you have the rest of the season, then you have that craziness of battle and US Open back to back. And then you have that time of everyone kind of figuring out what they're doing, and then who's going to win the diamond, right?
Mhm.
So, what are some highlights for you from the 2024 season? You
Um,
personally, or just from what you've seen as well? Maybe some changes, anything?
I think I got to go to a lot of the tournaments this year, and really the highlight for me is seeing, like, all the people that I don't get to see normally.
Right.
Like, a lot of the team, some friends that I have that are from out of state, and then just competing in general, competing and the thrill you get from competing and the adrenaline that happens is,
Yeah.
like, the my one of my favorite parts. And this will be my
Yeah.
second time going to diamonds, like, ever.
I know
So
that's crazy to me.
super excited to go. I didn't get to go last year, I was injured. And the year before I went by myself, and Jimena and I won a lot of the stuff that was there. So that was super cool. My dad wasn't there to experience it with me, so I'm glad he'll be there this time. But
That's
yeah, I would
awesome.
have to
That's
say,
awesome.
the travel, competing, and just seeing everybody is always the best part for me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. This is probably the most tournaments I've done in Naska for a long time. Last year as well, but I think I did one more or two more this year.
Mm,
I did most of the tournaments except I think I missed Cowboy Up competes in Miami, but all the other ones I'm going to. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird doing that many. It used to be, I'll be all right, I have my five I'm going to do, or I have my 3 to 4 I'm going to do, that are around, and then I'll go to the big one, or one where I have to fly. But once you just get in that rhythm and everything, it's easy, right? And it's good. It helps, when you have that, when you're on a roll, you want to stay on that roll, right?
yeah.
So that's definitely fun. Um, as far as for me, like just seeing, I feel like the changes in competitors from the beginning to the end of the season,
Mhm.
seeing certain people stay on top throughout, which is a lot of times is hard, especially in the junior division. You will see someone
Yeah.
start in the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
and then maybe by the end of the year, someone else jumped up and won at Diamonds, right? And they were getting thirds or fourths, like that happened. I want to say last year, but it might have been 2022, where like the beginning of the season, it was, uh, Mason Bumba winning. Then it became like Esteban winning, and then by the end, it was Philip Brumet winning. So it's really
Mhm.
very different, and you love seeing that, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing right now. You're seeing great competitors like Avery and Alice and Pia just continue to stay down it, but you also get to see their wave of doing that, the roller coaster, and how
They all go back
some of
and
them have
forth.
started a certain way and then got up, so it's
Mhm.
pretty cool to see that. Um, One of the big things this year, and I feel like NASCA really tried to add this rule in there, and it was the age rule, is figuring out what it is you can do when you are, 17, right? And moving up, or if you turn
Mhm.
18 that year, right? So, and there are a lot of competitors that maybe did this season as a 17-year-old, but their birthday happened in September or October.
Mhm.
So what do they do now? Um, I always thought that if it was after June 30th, you're allowed to
They
stay
should.
17 the whole time, and
Yeah.
that's the way it usually was. Right now, and I don't know if it was a mistake or what, but in it now again, this is for forms. Sparring, they still are not letting you move up until you turn 18. Okay, so if you were 17, uh, I believe that is what the rule was. Uh,
Interesting.
Actually, all right, yeah, they can compete in the forms and weapons division for the whole year if your birthday, if you turn 18 that year, right?
Mhm.
But with sparring, that's not the rule. But so really, you could do forms as 18, but do fighting as 16, 17. That was the rule this year. One of the things, though, that was different, like what we had said, it says if a competitor chooses to move up to the 18 divisions. Oh, no, here we go. All right. A competitor whose 18th birthday occurs in the calendar competition year may choose to compete in the 18 plus forms of weapons division for their entire year. If a competitor does not move up early, he or she must move up as soon as he or she turns 18. So that's what's written in there now. So that's different than what it used to be, right? Um,
Yeah.
so who, I don't know. I think most of the females went ahead and moved up, at least in the forms up. And for some of the forms competitors, though, I think actually some stayed down. So, is that going to change some things, right? Of who's been winning, and then now they have to diamonds move up to adults, right?
Yeah.
What's your thought on that? What do you think about that?
I've always had the luxury of having a birthday at the end of the year, so I never really had to worry about that.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
so well, my last year as a junior, I got to do the whole year without having to worry about that because I never did Toronto, and it's the last one. But
Right.
for I mean, I understand the rule, but at the same time, throwing someone like if they decide to move up or unless they have to move up, throwing yourself into an adult division is difficult because it is a different skill set of competition and you are going up against a lot of women that have been competing the whole year. So they
Right.
have their foot in that division and they have their set because they've been competing the whole year. For me, I feel more
Right.
as like point wise, it kind of sucks because you're forcing these people who have been competing for points in the same division the whole year to now go for
Right.
points in a different division and it's the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so
It's
they don't get
definitely
their
going to be
points.
right. And so with that rule, like to me, it would just be better just to move up to adults. That's what I
It'd
would
be
do.
better to move up to adults at the beginning of the year if they let you, because then you could establish your point
Yep.
system in adults 1 and 2, you could establish yourself in the adult division without having
Right.
to
And
worry
by the time
about
at the end of the year, right, and by the end of the year, you feel comfortable, right? So, like,
Yeah.
especially someone who was on our show last month after Amerikick, Maria, she moved up. She's still 17.
Mhm.
I think she just turned 18, and she moved up, early, and then
Mm,
won her first grand, by the time of Amerikick, so she's had that time to really, build herself up, get acquainted with
yeah.
it, and then earn those wins, at that
Mhm.
event and be ready now for diamonds and to finish up the year. So,
I
um,
know,
yeah,
um, Haley used to move up before she turned the age of the division she was going to, because
mhm,
her birthday's right smack dab in the middle of the year.
right,
So I know she always moved up early, that way she could get, herself established in that division or in that age group.
right.
That way when she did
Yeah,
turn that age, it was a lot not easier, but it was a lot more smooth transitioning into the age
right.
division.
Now, age rules. Do you like the June 30th age cutoff, or are you, because there's three different ways. There's the Naska June 30th, right?
Mhm.
Now, the NBL days and some of the other circuits do January 1st of that
Yeah.
year, right?
Mhm.
So for some people, that's great. For me, it doesn't really matter,
That doesn't matter
because
to me either, yeah.
yeah, I'm Christmas, doesn't matter. But the one that does matter for me, so AAU and WACO, is whatever your birth year is. So actually, like this year in AAU and in WACO, I competed as 41, but I'm 40. So I'm having to move up on certain divisions, right? And that actually messed me up where I couldn't even compete for WACO. I wanted to do like the Pan Ams and stuff and compete in
Mhm.
Chile, but I wasn't allowed because there isn't a forms division for me past 40. And I'm like, well, I'm
Yeah.
40. And they're like, no, you are 41. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that kind of, messed me up. So I don't know. There's a lot of different ones. No, I don't remember that, Brett. If your points move up with you from a junior, I thought it was like, I thought that maybe there used to be a rule that like half your points moved up, but I don't know. I don't think that's the case anymore.
I don't
But
think
but
that's the
I
case either, because I know, like,
no.
for example, our local circuit, if you compete in one division and then you move up to the next one, your points don't go with you.
Right. Right.
So, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's a Naska thing.
Now it used to be in like NBL was your points. You could get your points to move up if you were in different like
Mhm.
weight classes and you were a junior, because they don't want you to. They don't want to be pushing people to cut weight that's not healthy for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly all the other rules on that part. Um,
Mhm.
all right. So back to the question: which one do you prefer? Again, you're kind of in that same boat with me. We have December
Yeah,
birthdays, so
for me, it doesn't like, for me personally, it doesn't matter because my birthday falls where it does, but for someone like Haley, for example, she would have started if she would have done it this way, she would have started the year as a junior, halfway through the year had to move up to the adult division.
Right.
So, I mean, if
Right.
points travel with you, sure, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But at the same time, if they don't, then it sucks because you lose your points.
Right.
For the January 1st cutoff, then you have someone who's 18 competing in the junior division still halfway through the year.
For the
So, I mean,
whole, almost the whole. Yeah.
there's a lot of gray area with that whole rule because
Yeah.
of like
Oh
the way you
yeah.
can, because of what can
Yeah.
happen. Like if you move up early, cool, you get your foot in the division, but like you might be struggling a little bit because the adult division is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So the best
I mean,
thing that I heard, and a lot of people used to do this, especially fighters. Cass Sigmund used to do it. I think Nate Windsor, a lot of guys used to do it. It was do their last junior season in
mhm,
NBL as 17, and then compete Naska as 18, and that way they were allowed to do that. Especially they had like a January or February birthday, right?
mhm,
So what that did, that helped them focus on getting their titles, doing what they need to do here, maybe doing some things like continuous, all that, some teams, really get as much as they can there, while also getting used to the contact level, getting
mhm,
used to the craziness that's going to happen. So that time next year, they're already used to competing at that level with the adults when they fight in NBL. They're already used to competing in that, in Naska. So that definitely helped a lot of people, and I think you
mhm.
see that in Waco with the 16 to 18, division,
Yeah.
and then the way that they're allowed to move up, an age group or whatnot,
Mhm.
or class or whatnot. So I think, things like that are pretty cool, that they help competitors grow.
Sorry.
So it's all good.
Um, that I know some do that for our local circuit as well. Like I know we have juniors that compete in the adult, because I think with our circuit you can compete in the adult division and you can compete in your junior division. So you can do
Oh,
both,
okay.
which
Interesting.
I think helps the juniors figure out more the adult division, but like they can
Yeah.
also still compete in their division and see where they're at for both.
Okay.
So I
That's
know
fun.
one of the girls just this past weekend, even Addison, Camden, and then those are the two I remember from the weekend. They competed in their divisions while also doing the adult division.
Nice. Okay.
So, and then
Yeah.
in NASCA, they still do the regular division because I think Addison, I know Addison is 17. I think the other one is 16. So you can compete in the adult division once you hit that 16, 17 division.
Nice. I like that.
So that's
I like that.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because NBO, they always had that rule that if you turned 18 that year, you could go ahead and move up. If you were
mhm.
17, yeah, they had that for a while. Um, and then NASCA, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't remember it being an issue. And again, because of my birthday, it was just like, all right,
Yeah,
well,
it's
this
not
whole
really
year,
something to think
yeah.
about.
And as soon as I turn 18, I'm moving up. So that's just the
Mhm.
way it is, right? Um, so yeah, so that's some interesting thing. We'll see who has to move up at Diamonds and how that changes some things.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you are excited to see move up to adults soon? Forms, weapons, fighting.
I've said it once and I'll say it again, Pia.
Yeah.
I think
Now,
Pia is going to do really well
do you
in
think
the
she's
adult
going to move
division.
up next year? Because I think she's able to. I think she's able to move up.
I think she's gonna move up next year because I believe she turned 17 last month.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's right.
I'm pretty sure she turned, so either way, if according to the NASCAR rule, she would have to
Right.
move up after what, New Jersey anyway. So
Yeah.
I think
Minus
I think she's gonna do well in the adult division for sure.
forms, weapons, and fighting.
Yes.
Yeah. I think she'll
Yeah,
do
I
it that way
think
for a while until maybe, she decides what she wants to focus on. But I feel like
mhm.
she's a fighter. She's gonna stick with it, you
She
know?
has I think she has the skill set for all of it.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of like I know as you hit the adult division, you don't have a lot of people that do all 3. or that
No,
do
no.
forms, weapons, fighting, extreme, creative, all of that. Like once
Right.
you hit the adult division, it's like
Mhm.
you don't have to choose, but you're almost forced to choose because it's hard to do all of them.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
So, I don't know,
Um,
I think it'll be interesting to see, like, what juniors move up, what juniors decide to stay, how they do, like, starting with Warrior Cup and all that other stuff, 'cause it'll be interesting to see for sure.
yeah, I'm excited to see how World Cup goes, especially for me. Like, there's 2 to 3 solid competitors that are in the junior Korean division they're gonna move up, and I'm really excited
Mhm,
about, going against. And then also there's a lot of guys on the AAU, taekwondo team that, like, went last year but weren't told to compete in the Naska division because they didn't
mhm,
have there wasn't anyone guiding them to do this, right? So this year I'm on the team while also helping them coach. So I'm going to be like, listen, you need to go up there because you're someone who I want to compete against. Like you need to
mhm,
be like your skill level is amazing and people aren't used to seeing that. So let's show that, they're already excited to hear about you guys, but don't just go do the single A divisions
mhm,
because, and I think a lot of it that happens sometimes. It's confusing when you're like A, double A, like I don't know which is better, which, like it is
mhm.
confusing to new
Yeah.
people. So, and I think some people say, oh, non-NASCA. Well, are you a NASCA member? No. All right. Well, then go over here. And we're like,
Mhm.
okay, that doesn't mean you can't compete with the what's supposed to be the
Yeah,
best, right? So I
'cause
think I think sometimes that drives me nuts. The whole A,
I
double
think
A.
we did the NASCA membership for 2022, I think it was
Mhm.
2022? So I was at the banquet, like, January last year, but I don't have it now. I didn't have it last year.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I
Yeah.
still go compete,
Right.
like, if I put in points, I'd probably have a seed, but I don't really care at the same time.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I know for forms, having those seeds helps a lot, right? Um, for
as it
fighting,
does
it's a
for
little different.
fighting. For
It
fighting,
does,
it helps get the buy.
it does. Yeah. Well, that's true. It does, but some people would like to have that warm up fight. You know what I mean? And not
Mhm,
feel because a lot of times, like especially at a big division, and then you're automatically in the top 8. Well, all right.
mhm.
Everybody else is already warmed up, and I'm gonna get a guaranteed good fighter. Somebody like, let me work my way up again. There's a lot of people that like that.
The seed works better when you have, like, maybe 20 people in the division.
Yeah,
Because then if you do get the buy,
yeah,
say you're, like, the first fight of the second round, you got to watch all those people fight,
yeah.
and then now you get to, like, jump in and you're fresh off of watching everybody fight.
Right,
So I feel like
right.
you have more of, like, a fresh mind of, "Oh, this person does this person is gonna do this. When I fight my opponent, they're gonna do this and this." So it helps and hurts. It really depends on, like, how many people are in the division and where you are in the bracket.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the idea is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan, but not a fan of seeds. I think to me, that's one thing that I really enjoy about doing the Korean challenge is that it's not
Mhm,
a rated division right now and there's no seeds and I can go first and second and it challenges me to still win. And,
mhm.
it's like, okay, you like a lot of times in Korean challenge, I'll go first or second and I'll win that first round or I'll get second. Sometimes that's happened. And but it's just like, hey, that doesn't always matter.
Mhm.
Plus I like it. It makes me like it just makes me get up a little bit more. So
Yeah.
get excited. So,
Mhm.
but yeah. Uh, so next year, I don't know how they're going to do it. But we'll see how that goes and if they're going to change the rules or whatnot.
I
Um,
think
comes
Naska
new.
should look into doing kind of what Waka's doing and add a 16 to 18 division.
Yeah. As almost
I
like an open weight though,
Yeah,
or
like an open weight.
yeah. Yeah.
Because I know, like, I guess there's a good bit of juniors that do compete in those divisions. Like, I know I have a
Right.
couple students that would do, like, their division and the 16 to 18 division. So, like, if
Yeah.
you're 18, I feel like you should
Well,
be able to do the 16 to 18, and then maybe the 18 to 29. And then for the
Right. Well,
16,
well, like what WKC has the 18 to 20 open weights,
mhm,
right?
there's an
And that's
18 to 20 for our circuit too. It's 18 to 20, and then you have 21 to 29. So there's also that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I've won all of them, Alex. But um, but yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of just a lot of cool things to to end this year. I'm excited
Mhm.
about Diamonds. It's really for me, it's my favorite tournament. And it's the one that means the most to me. It's like my most important one. And then getting to finish off the year with at Toronto. It's going to be fun this year. Um, I may go down to Fort Lauderdale. I don't know yet. We'll see.
When
I'm not
is
sure.
Toronto?
Which one's what?
When's Toronto?
Toronto?
Mhm.
December. It's late. It's like the 14th.
Oh, that's the weekend I graduate anyway, so I won't be going.
Oh, yes, the 13th.
My
Sorry.
mom would probably kill me if I decided to go to a tournament instead of walk the stage, which I don't wanna do
Yeah.
that anyway. It'll be my first time walking, so
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh man. All right. So what are you most excited about for Diamonds? And then we will head out.
I'm most my parents are watching the stream on the TV out there, and when I said that, she said, "Duh."
Duh. That's
Um, I'm most excited about the competition. It was really good the last time I went, and, yeah, I'm super excited to compete. It's been a while because we had a big break between New Jersey and now.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just excited to compete, excited to, um, keep the training regimen going, and just ready for this last tournament of the year. Ready to end on a high note, for sure.
Did the break, do you feel like the break helped you, or do you feel like, oh man, I'm out of it, out of the zone? I mean, I hope not,
Um,
but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
no, I think the break definitely helps, especially not just me, but for all the people that do all this traveling
Oh,
and stuff. It gives them, 1,
yeah.
a break financially, 2, it gives
Yeah.
them a break mentally and physically. You don't have to be somewhere every weekend.
Yeah.
You had that month where unless you were traveling every weekend, and that's up to you. Like, you do you.
Yeah.
But I know a few people that were happy for this break because it gave them time to reprieve from between Battle, US Open, and then you have Caps and New Jersey.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
For me, it's great. It was very much needed. I mean,
Absolutely.
I was feeling it by the end of Amerikick. I was like, I can't wait for this break. I need this break, just because my body was just like, all right, you need to chill a little bit, right? So
Mhm,
I really took a break. I went to one local tournament at the end of August, so that was like 2 weeks later, and I did like two divisions, and
mhm,
then I did a tournament 2 weeks ago, Daryl Carter's tournament, which so, and I did 4 divisions there. So that gave me enough break in between and then to really focus on recovering, resting, and then, you know, my strength and conditioning, really getting
mhm,
zoned in what forms I'm going to do, all that, just the mindset. I have a lot of different things that I've changed over the past month to get ready for this tournament because it's very
mhm,
important to me. But, and for me, I'm going to this tournament like it's my last one. I'm not saying it's my last, you know what I mean? But
mhm.
like that's the way I think of it
Yeah,
as,
I get
right?
it.
So, but yeah. So I'm excited to see everybody at Diamonds. And I'm
Yes.
excited for everyone to go out to K Talk this year. So make sure you guys check out K Talk Nationals, go to their Facebook page, get any information, message Sue Diaz for any information there, and start. Well, if you don't have your flight, go ahead and do that, or book a train, right? So
Mhm.
awesome, awesome. Well, this was fun, Peyton. Congrats on your new job and everything
Thank
going on, new
you.
for you. And
Yes.
the idea in October, and remember, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember our idea in October for our show? Who we
No.
wanted to have on?
No.
Remember, I wanted us to have guests on. We'll have to see if we can do that. It
Oh,
may have to
yes,
be
yes,
pushed
yes,
back.
yes, yes. The
Okay.
guest is probably gonna be delayed a little bit, but
Yeah.
but guest already agreed. So I just
Okay.
have to send the guest details.
Sweet. Sweet. So either October or November, we'll have that, right?
Yes. I will let guests
All
know,
right.
and I will send guest details on a for sure date whenever we decide.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's a great episode of Peyton's Extra Scoop, and we will
Yes.
see everybody next week.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Bye.